Hey YouTube, in this video I'm gonna install some racing brake pads from Ferodo, the DS1.11. And so I have, as you can see here, the rear pads here and then the front. The rear come in two versions. These are, I believe, the thicker of the two, 19 millimeter, I believe, or 17 versus 15 or 17. So it's 2 millimeter thicker. So I'm hoping that these should fit. And then I'm also hoping that these are not going to be too noisy for the street. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so I got the wheels removed, as you can see. So next I'm just going to remove this bolt, the 13 millimeter, and slide out this this pin. And while sliding it out, I need to push this clip in, and then it should slide out. So I'm just going to push the clip in as you can see, and then pull the slide the pin out while pushing it in. So I took a screwdriver and got it started. Okay, as you could see, this is the old pad, of course, and it's worn to where the backing plate is almost the same thickness as the brake pad material. So it's time to replace to avoid the heat transfer to the seals of the piston. Okay, I got the old pads off. So next I just need to transfer the anti-squeal backing plate and put some high temp grease. With this car, I don't have the wear sensor. There's no provision for wear sensor. I don't really need that anyway, so I zip tie, as you can see here. Okay, so I'm using this tool to push the piston into the caliper, this pad spreader. Also, I've read you got to be careful not to damage the ceramic insulator, this piece here. I've read where people drop them and it cracks easily. So, and they're I don't think you can buy that separately. So I think it only comes if you buy the full caliper, which is hundreds of dollars. Okay, so next I'm gonna put a thin coat of this high temp grease to help reduce some of the squealing noise. So as you can see, I put a thin coat of the grease, and then I'm gonna do the same on the back of this metal piece that touches the brake piston. So I put a thin coat of high temp grease. Okay, I got the new pads installed. Just this pin, this bolt, I make sure you don't over tighten. That should be just around 20 foot-pound. And the nice thing with this turbo cars, you don't have to remove the brake caliper to change the pads. So these two bolts I did not remove, and so, but these clips, I mean, this spring tension, it's kind of a pain to slide this out. So another way, instead of trying to pry it from here, which could chip your paint, is to use something to push it out from here, maybe a 1/4-inch extension socket or something. Also, don't forget to put some blue thread locker on the bolt that goes to this pin. Okay, I'm also gonna bleed the brakes a little bit. So I got this power bleeder attached, as you can see here, and I have it pumped up to about 12 psi. And so I'll go ahead and open the valve. It's a 11 millimeter, and be careful not to over tighten these. Okay, so I got the fronts done now. I'm gonna do the back. The back is the back requires you to remove the brake caliper, so it's kind of a little more of a pain in the butt. Okay, so in the back, like I mentioned, you have to remove the brake caliper to change the pad. I do have these Tarot stud kit, so it uses a 12 millimeter 12-point socket. So these are so that makes it a little easier to remove the caliper without worrying about stripping or the wheel carrier threads. So it uses these 12-point bolt, as you could see. Okay, so as you can see, I got it removed. I got it suspended by these yellow metal rods, and then these are the Tarot stud kit that I got. And so I'm going to go ahead and replace the brake pad, and keeping my fingers crossed that the extra thickness of this version will fit this caliper. Okay, so I did a test fit. It does fit, so that's good news. So I'm gonna put some thin layer of high temp grease on the back of the brake pads, and hope that helps prevent some brake noise. I do swap brake pads pretty often, so I don't have the shims on the back, and also the factory comes with those self-adhesive anti-squeal shims, which I don't have. And actually, even without the those shims, when I had the DS2500 brake pads, it was quiet. I didn't have any brake noise issue. So these Tarot studs are a lot of different versions. They come in stainless steel, but for the turbo application, I guess because it's longer, they use a steel, which I guess is stronger, but it does, as you could see, it does starting to rust a little bit. Well, at least the bolt is stainless steel, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it to 54 foot-pound. That's what the Tarot stud specs call for. Again, yours is probably going to be different, unless you have the same stud conversion by Tarot. So again, in the back brake pads, I don't have I'm not using the wear sensor. So as you can see, there's no wires going to the brake pads, because these race pads don't have provision for that. Plus, and then I have it zip tied there. So, and usually, again, you check pads regularly and change them pretty often, way before it gets close to the backing plate. Okay, I got the power bleeder hooked up again. I'm going to bleed some of the brake fluid. There's an inner and outer. I'm not sure which order, but I don't think it really matters. But I'm just going to start with the outer and then the inner. I'm just bleeding just a little bit, and because I bled the fluid several times before, so I'm just doing it each time I change brake pads. Yep, there's a little bit of air bubble, but not bad. That's why it's good to bleed it. color doesn't look bad. Okay, I got the one side back done, so one more to go. Okay, here's the back right old pads, so I'm doing the same thing. Okay, so I got all the brake pads changed, so I'm just going to take it for a quick test drive. I'm curious to see how much noisier with these DS1.11 race pads. Typically race pads are going to be a lot noisier than the street pads. And then next I'll have to bed it in. Okay, so I just came back from a short drive. Initial impressions is very good. It does make a tiny bit of squeaking noise when you're lightly applying the brakes at very low speed, so but not too bad. It hasn't been fully hasn't been bedded in, so and then it's not even broken in yet. But it also does make a clicking noise each time I apply the brakes. I'm not sure what that is, but I think it's the pad itself sliding is what I think. Comment below if you know what that clicking sound is each time I apply the brakes. So here's the bed-in procedure from Ferodo. So he's supposed to perform 25 to 30 trial brake application, each of 4 seconds and about 50% of the pressure. Okay, so I'm checking the driver's side. There's that clicking noise, and I think I know what it is. It's this pad. As you could hear it, it's sliding up and down. So I got a little play here, so I guess I'm gonna have to live with that. It only happens on slow stop, like in a parking lot, but it's annoying. Oh well. See, I can move it up and down, and that's what I'm hearing, the click. So it looks like this pad is slightly less than 77.5 inches in width. So I'm measuring, comparing from the old one. So it's about 2 millimeter shorter, and so there's a little more play, which makes that clicking noise. So what I plan to do is increase the spring tension by bending it so that it provides more pressure downward to hopefully reduce the clicking noise, or maybe prevent it. So increasing the spring tension helped a little bit, but it didn't completely eliminate it. So I hope I didn't get a counterfeit pads. Doesn't appear to be. I know Ferodo just introduced some what they call pre-o spot labeling to help combat that, but they have a lot of older stock that doesn't have it, so it's kind of hard to tell. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.